returning to exercise postnatally, it's really important that we strengthen and test the pelvic floor in different ways. So in particular when we're running, the impact which the ground makes as the foot makes contact, naturally we get a downward force in the pelvic floor and it should recoil back up. So it's almost like a spring motion. But sometimes in postnatal recovery, that spring might not quite be as bouncy, and then that's where we can feel that heaviness through the pelvis or maybe changes in bladder control. So we need to train that springy motion to re-strengthen that. So just our zipping up or our breathing exercises in the early stages are not sufficient to return you back to that higher impact demand of things like running and HIIT classes. So squats are a nice place to start. So from here, I'm just taking my feet a little bit wider than hip width and turning out. So I'm just taking a few squats first of all, just to assess how that feels. And what's nice about working into squats, my inner thigh muscles are stretching, so I've got some nice pelvic floor mobility work. But also I'm strengthening through the inner thighs, which is going to help support the pelvic floor. But I'm also strengthening through the legs. Okay, so you might find almost this feeling of stretching the pelvic floor as you come down and natural lift. So let's just work into that a little bit more. So I'm going to take a breath in. As I breathe out, I'm going to feel like I'm pulling up through the pelvic floor. So breath in, let it stretch, breath out, pull it up. Breath in, breath out. We're going to make it a little bit quicker. Exhale. So I'm being a little bit snappier. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. So that's the first part, and you might work on that over a few days or weeks. We're going to start to add a little bit more impact into it this time. So now I'm coming up on the toes, and then I'm going to catch. So I'm landing almost with a stomp. Breath in, out. And what I want you to think about is as you hit the ground, we've got that impact. So I want you to feel like you're pulling up a little bit more. Breath in, zip. In, that's what my pelvic floor is doing. And after a while, that can start to feel quite fatigued in that pelvic floor as well. But again, it's what we're starting to develop for the forces that are required with running.